Not Tusk. I think Tusk is lower on. Okay, they're actually gonna ban that.
I think Yao was actually really good on Tusk in
Oh.
his last game I saw yesterday.
He is.
It's probably his most comfortable.
He played Tusk before it got super popular. So he's one of the... I think you have to pay probably EG too, for that matter, in the first phase. It's just really difficult to counter. BKB or not, it's really difficult to play around, and it's one that most teams can't utilize themselves. So I think that's definitely a hero you want to ban.
And this is interesting to see, because we've been talking about during the groups, teams have prioritized Shadow Fiend less than we thought they would, even on Radiant. And one of those teams has been Secret, who haven't even picked it all tournament, I think. At least I can't remember seeing a single RTZ Shadow Fiend, and now they pick it first phase against LGD, which definitely goes to show that S4 and the whole team definitely had something going in against LGD.
I mean, these two heroes that is very good against LGD. They can fight and they can split push. Like if they feel they can take the fight towards LGD when 5-man, Queen of Pain and Shadow Fiend can definitely come and join the fights early, and they can also be used just in case you can't take the fights early. Queen of Pain and SF can also split push, so there's a lot of flexibility in the heroes at what they can do in the game. I
was watching the Team Secret camera and S4 was just cracking up. I was like, what they gave us that was what was like. I don't exactly know what they were laughing about, but it was.
Well, yeah. After that, Shaker being taken out, and then the Brood ban, second phase ban. Definitely not something people are gonna forget after day one.
It's you don't give that hero to Zion.
Yeah.
Like that is just, in my opinion, his best hero compared to everyone else in the scene. Like where he is most ahead of others is just Brood. So definitely agree with that. Now they did pick up the Shaker as I was thinking they would. It's just a very standard LGD go-to first phase pick. I don't think they will. So of course, I'll put it mid on maybe, but they can also play it on Xiao 8.
Yeah. We were talking about like what teams like to pick it. Like LGD was the other team that came to our mind when it has a very good matchup with Co-op and definitely deals with like BKB targets like Shadow Fiend very well later into the game.
Secret do have the next picks now. They've banned Bounty. That was another hero we forgot in phase 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's Alina ban.
There's still what, Dazzle for Team Secret. There's also still Clock.
Clock could be good. Like it's really good versus Gyro in some sense. Like we mentioned before he gets BKB, you have a timing window.
Look at Dazzle. I think Clock, Coddle might be their last two picks actually.
They rarely pick Dazzle and.
But yeah, Dazzle Coddle together might be a little bit too defensive. They did do that. Wasn't there that their support duo against Fnatic when they got rolled? Was that Dazzle Coddle or was it Coddle and another defensive?
I think it was Dazzle Coddle.
They had a Tusk, but I think that was played by Zion that game, so it was not a support. Might have been Dazzle though. There's the Wisp. They're expecting. Could come out here in the series. So we're gonna see it with a Tiny. Likely. I think they did play that yesterday. It was maybe on Tiny. I do think one game
with 1 versus 2 situation, it does very, very well.
S4 is not last.
It's the Bristleback gear right now. The 2 cores are already shown.
I still think they can do it though.
Then they have to do Queen of Pain offlane, right?
Yeah.
Well,
it's not ideal. Neither is putting SF mid.
There's gonna be negative parts about doing that because their lanes will be a bit weird. And I think SF does very badly against IO Tiny, in my opinion. It does very, very badly. He needs help somehow.
You can want this pick to happen because they're actually not expected it with the Shaker already being picked for LGD that they would also go for the IO.
Yeah. And usually when you pick IO here, it more or less high chance that the Earthshaker is actually a core off-lane position. We saw it done by teams a lot of times already. When they have IO, the Earthshaker is actually not sort of weird.
Do you think Secret are considering Disruptor as Darkseer and a counter to Wisp right now? As their potential 5th pick, already thinking about that when they get the DS, and that they figured that if they pick Disruptor first, Darkseer will probably get banned?
You know, I'm thinking maybe Enigma as well, like if you want to counter the relocate.
I think Secret just don't really like playing that anymore.
It's a good.
They very rarely pick junglers.
It's
they
very
did pick
rare.
Chen yesterday, actually. So maybe around. So it's possible.
What other heroes that are really good to counteract the relocate that Secret plays as a support position? We haven't seen Sanking a lot, and we have. I don't think we have ever seen Disruptor from Secret. I don't recall.
They've done Disruptor before, but it's not common from them at all.
I think they need something that can follow up after the vacuum.
Right.
Darkseid's going to initiate with vacuum, and you need someone to follow up with stun. There's got to be something, right, apart from the Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, Sand King and Disruptor make the most sense, I would say, in that regard. I mean, AA is still not out
Yeah,
of the question either.
The thing is, they have no stuns though, but I guess it's secret, so they don't really care about that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
actually,
you
they
did say
banned the
so.
Bane, so I guess they're expecting it to be a core shaker, or they're scared of their own offlane Bane, which no other team plays. So it's probably
They are expecting the Earthshaker to be a core position.
it's gotta be. Is that a classic Yao offlane?
Yes.
Yeah, he does it
Okay.
quite a
Yeah.
fair bit.
So that's not really a hero-player combination that's very memorable for me. But
At this point, yeah, the Wyvern was open.
Oh yeah,
so
that's a Wyvern.
Wyvern would have been very good too.
Totally forgot about it.
Okay.
I mean, the cast is decent and has quite some synergy with the vacuum.
Mhm.
It's not something very common you say with vacuum, but
Right.
it does work.
And they instant picked it too. Like they didn't want to use any more bonus time. They were like, okay, maybe they were thinking they'll ban Wyvern, we get Witch Doctor. They already planned for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
The Darkseer, I expect him to do very well because since it's an IO, there's going to be IO tiny. The other lanes will be 2-1-2, and Darkseer thrives in a situation where it's only 2 heroes instead of 3.
What if LGD picks a Rubik and they put Rubik Gyro top? Do you still think Darkseer will be fine if they put IO Tiny?
Yeah,
in?
Rubik is going to be a problem. Yeah.
IO Tiny beats Shadow Fiend. But they can help Shadow Fiend with Dazzle or Witch Doctor. That's actually the nice thing about Secret's lineup is that both can help in main.
They're actually
Okay,
going
that's-
for the.
That's another
disrupt-
good hero against
Disruptor.
Darkseer in lane, actually.
Yeah, you can glimpse the surge, so Darkseer has to be more careful in the lane in that regard.
I think Disruptor kind of can be a soft counter to the Grave too. We've been constantly looking for solutions to the Dazzle, and some people used to do like Doom and Glimpse. We've seen AA, but Disruptor is one of the good
Yeah,
ones.
I think it's a very good pick in the sense that it does another 2 things. It does well against Quap, and he's one of the few heroes that you can be able to disrupt the channeling ultimate from the Witch Doctor from a safe distance, because usually Witch Doctor is very far behind as well, so it's difficult to reach him, but with Glimpse there's always a chance that you can still cancel his ultimate.
All right, so in this case, disregarding the fact that it is Team Secret, are we favoring LGD's draft a little bit more than just... Of course, they've had their plan not disrupted as much as Secret did in the draft.
I think it's pretty even, and in a way you could say LGD to shut down the Shadow Fiend, I think. If they just let Shadow Fiend free farm, I think this is actually not a bad Shadow Fiend game. When he gets BKB, the LGD lineup doesn't have that hard single target damage early on, so...
All right.
Even.
Okay, well, we'll see how both teams execute it again. Game 1 of possibly the best Group A right now. It is LGD versus Team Secret.
TI5 itself. Looking at and worried about moving forward, it's like LGD, Secret, and EG. These to me are the big 3 right now here at TI5.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe let's just see here. We're welcoming in the live stream. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's Secret versus LGD. Of implications for the main event. Should either team very likely to in Group A, and with that, would get to choose their opponent in the winner's bracket. You win that one match at the main event. Guaranteed top 6. You're guaranteed over $1 million in prize money at the International 2015. So let's get into it here. We're going to see Secret going back to their DAC picks, the Queen of Pain Shadow Fiend, the big AoE controllers, LGD, with some the Tiny IO. So excited to see how this works out, and already getting ready for the rune spawns here. Probably going to be the ones to snag it, and it'll be Secret taking the top.
Yeah, Queen of Pain S4 gets Vigilant. Both teams were fairly defensive with their just positioning at level 1. We didn't see any kind of rotations towards the enemy jungle or any kind of early first blood attempts. So Secret especially were just like huddled by their ancients, not willing to venture out at all. But we'll see how things work out for Tiny, and that's where Kuro, for now, just blocking the mid lane for him, but I think as much as possible.
Yeah, leaving Shadow Fiend alone against this dual lane is scary. And if you're not far enough back as a Shadow Fiend, can easily give up a kill around, say, level 3 to 5. So with the Witch Doctor here, secure RTZ's early farm, help him get that quick bottle out, and just ensure that he's able to get his early CS going. Can also go back, stack the jungle. I think it's definitely the right move here. The Queen of Pain doesn't need help, and Darkseer getting the help that he will need against the Disruptor Gyro. As we were talking about during the draft, it's a scary lane if you just leave the Darkseer alone. If he ever gets glimpsed in the kinetic field.
That stock got the immediate D ward off at top lane, finding Zhao Wei kind of an unconventional ward spot as he loves having that big camp available, and this will make their life a lot easier. Just he's constantly harassing Zhao Wei low on HP, already forcing out multiple tanks. Secret.
And so far, looking at the CS here, a good Secret, but Zai takes a pounding from the Rocket Barrage, and Sylar sending a warning shot that if you play too aggressive in this top lane, move on you. There's a grave, there's a heal, but even through that, you can often run these heroes down, find those early. Got to be careful, and we should probably take a look here at the bottom lane quickly. It looks to be an S4 favored lane, heavily so. Queen of Pain versus the solo Shaker, but Yao is getting his early levels, already hits 3, and definitely not expected to dominate this one, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I like that Secret's move is just to not give him whatsoever in the second. They just say, look, he can crush it. Earthshaker supports helping out mid lane, helping out room, but taking quite a bit of damage here from the Arteezy harass.
Yeah, you can see a little extra investment by Secret in trying to control this middle lane, not just even bring Dazzle to either secure the ruin or at least put some harassment the way of LGD. And there has been a lot of stacking already, gods, both in the Radiant and camps. With the IO, no surprises. With the Shadow Fiend, Darkseer, also no surprises. We may not. This looks like a game that could be or could very easily just turn into a long-term economy game with both teams really looking to come down to whether or not the teams are finding their openings.
Yeah. One of the big kind of where the forks that LGD can take is whether or not they get the Blink Dagger on Tiny. If they get any kind of an early game advantage, I think he'll go for it and try and just snowball from there, finding kills. But if it really feels like it's a bit of Secret is slightly ahead, he'll play the farm game and look for the Aghanim Scepter as his first item. We've seen a bit of both coming out from IO Tinies, and it really depends on the tempo the game is going.
He's really not farming right now is the worry. As Avalanche comes out, won't connect on anything. Couldn't have gone even if it did with Kuro ready to back up Arteezy, but the CS on this Tiny is leaving quite a bit to be desired. Only 5 creeps. Arteezy sitting at 19 and 8. As expected, Queen of Pain crushing the bottom lane for S4, 19 and 10. And even the offlane Darkseer of Zai sitting towards the top of the CS charts, 15 and 1. So, dare I say it, gods, they are winning 2 lanes convincingly. And the third, they're getting more than you normally expect out of a Darkseer offlane, thanks to Puppy's support.
Absolutely. This is where this Queen of Pain Shadow Fiend opening is so strong. I think Secret kind of took advantage of the fact that they know they like to run. Yao doesn't get the kind of dual lane support that a lot of offlaners get this tournament. He's by himself on an Earthshaker, on a Tusk, on a Clockwork, and Secret's plan was just to
early skirmish. Could be the first blood. Arteezy looking for the openings here. There is a grave available, and he's going to converge forward. He does get glimpsed back. Xiao 8 will survive, but mid lane, left and a 2 for nothing, and on top of the creep advantage, Secret are all in full control of this game.
Tricky. This is not like LGD have a lot of easy ways to turn this game around. Around the time Gyro hits level 7, you can start involving him in fights around the top rune, around the mid lane as needed, but it's not an easy hero to roam with unless you're also bringing the Earthshaker. At that point, LGD are forced to 5-man much earlier than they'd like to, and Secret will just say, well, you want a 5-man, we're going to play the economy game and just out-farm you.
And if you 5-man into Secret once they get, that can easily work against you. You've got likely coming out here for Zai, maybe Arteezy the one to pick it up, but either way, they'll have in short order. And Secret keep the lane pressured mid lane. There is aggression here. Fissure coming in, Avatos, they finally get a kill. Kuroki not able to save Arteezy. That was much needed. Nice rotation from Yao, and considering how tough this bottom lane is, might as well look for the plays elsewhere. Yeah. There was a Radiant Observer ward in the areas. We're going to see a battle of D wards here, but that hill ward about to expire. It's already done its work, and well, they might get the extra 50 gold out of this. Nope, not even that. Kuro says no.
Denied. But yeah, that's the kind of place, just unfortunately, free farm. Queen of the CS charts by a big margin, so we'll see what LGD's next move is going to be. But Yao's going to want to keep on getting involved, I feel. He doesn't want to just sit idly leeching experience in this bottom lane.
You mentioned the gyrocopter moving, and maybe we don't normally see it from Sylar is the thing. We did see it. We've seen it more with Maybe. It definitely feels like with the introduction of Maybe to LGD that Sylar has not. He's no longer really the one position. Much more reminiscent of how Arteezy was on EG, where he might have gone mid at times and even play like the iconic heroes or dual lane mid heroes, but was really the and it feels like maybe he's taking over that role, which is where you'd like to see that aggressive style of Gyrocopter this game. Get Sylar involved early, go for the smoke ganks, maybe give a support the lane top, but it's tough to do that when you see the constant pressure. And RTZ, he's found the stacks, not only Shell 8, but also a gigantic pile of creeps. This is something to protect.
Yeah.
This is way too much gold to give away. And they are the call down onto Arteezy. They want to go, but Zai's able to zone him back. The Raze will miss. Fissure blocking off a few. They try to isolate Kuro, but they can't bring him down. The heal is enough. He survives. One less range creep auto attack. Earn charge. He
LGD
will
need a
survive. They're
neutral stack.
5-manning
They
their
have
own
to.
neutrals, and they need it, but it's too late. Arteezy's already stolen half of them, and he's going to get more. Only 2 big creeps survive the slaughter. They need Arteezy. Ava, toss, Fissure, they get the kill. S4 even blinks into it, but the Queen of Pain ult to turn it. Maybe. Neutral's not poking him. He barely makes his way out of this one, and Sylar does find S4 on the backside. They get the 2 fattest cores on Secret. They do miss most of the neutral kit, but at least get some experience. That was definitely a salvage for LGD out of what looked like a terrible situation.
Absolutely, and you can't even, like, that's the right play to go for Secret. Arteezy in the front lanes, if they get the Grave off, that doesn't go as one-sided as it kind of ended up going in LGD's favor. It was very much the burst damage of LGD just catching Puppey a little bit by surprise and a rare miss on the Grave. Arteezy was, I think, banking on having it to back him up there, and
if he gets Grave there, they get slaughtered,
yeah, because
honestly.
he can continue to, like, his raises were coming up any second. So during that Grave, he's throwing 2-3 raises, and LGD are losing heroes.
Well, LGD, this game could have snowballed totally out of control, but they are able to stay in it with that fight, and they make it a pretty close game. 1,000 gold lead for Secret, only about a 1250 experience lead, and so much of the game plan is going to hinge on maybe what's the item build here. For now, he picks up the completed treads, it looks like, bringing out the magic wand as well for MMY in short order. But does he skip the blink at this point? There's a lot of squishy targets, but they're going to get tankier quickly. The Shadow Fiend normally getting some plus stats items early, and potentially we even see S4 go for that early BKB or Ags, at which point the blink could backfire. If you don't get those kills, you may not really get much value out of it.
Yeah, TZ already committed to the Yoga Club, so he'll be rushing BKB with Zai being able to go for the mech. And as you said, they're looking for early stats, early just survivability, and that's where a Blink Dagger on Tiny will kind of come maybe at a time where it's not going to be able to...
He's not snowballing by any means, but let's go. Secret, their turn to move. They smoke up, Arteezy leading the way, and they think about heading straight towards the bottom lane. Instead, they're going to wrap around here, moving towards the Roshan pit. May try to get a ward up. Yao very low HP, and should he go down, that is the majority of their strong tower defense gone. Just the Ancients warded for now.
Okay.
We've seen a lot of teams forget about the Ancients. There was a couple of games that come to mind. Secret was playing one game where Arteezy was Templar Assassin, the Dire side, farmed a quad stack with a double damager, and suddenly was totally out of control. I believe that was the game where he had an Aegis and got a triple kill after respawning with like a single Deso Daedalus crit. So a couple Bristleback games as well. Ancients are definitely something you want to keep an eye on here, and it might seem like a big commitment using, but
that vision advantage over the trees, over the bottom tier 1 to apply pressure down here, but Puppey even had 2 wards, so he could have blocked the Ancients and warded. It says, nope, we don't care about it. We're going to play our game, sit back, wait till we get our items, and then use our item advantage to be able to take down towers with an Orchid on Queen of Pain, with a BKB on SF. They're not...
LGD's turn to smoke. They bypass the double damager, and there's no radiant vision of it, so they could have gone for it, but they didn't realize. As Zai narrowly making the smoke, he is going to, but it's in an awkward position. So he's on the right side of it, but doesn't matter. Too much burst damage. Meanwhile, mid lane, MMY's eye off by Arteezy as the trade.
Yeah.
And
They
the
went
Witch
on the
Doctor
Witch
also
Doctor,
drops. One.
Iotani killed Witch Doctor, TP'd in and got a counter kill.
They want Arteezy. Pockets will end LGD. Aggression here, and
Got well over, like, about 1,000 net worth ahead of the and even important kills going LGD's way.
early, and it really does equalize things.
Ooh,
They
relocate
TP in
bottom.
the gyro. They're going to relocate forward, maybe, finding the Avatos directly up and down, but there's a grave from Kuro, from Puppey to try and turn this. Now the death ward from Kuro driving them back. LGD forced to disengage. They may leave the Tiny here. No, they're just going to back off towards mid. They chase on the Puppey. They know the they might be able to make a play here. The Rocket Barrage coming through. LGD taking the fight to Secret, who meanwhile are pushing top with Zai, it looks like. Seems like Secret are waiting on their first round of key items at this point. The mech on Zai about to come out. That's the type of bottom.
This is LGD willing to commit as many heroes as possible to fights and just early objectives kind of go their way. In this case, it's just been a few kills here or there. The Disruptor glimpse back on Shadowfiend there as he TP'd in, very crucial. But for Secret, they're much more about splitting their resources, getting farm on all 5 of their heroes. They're known for having really farm supports. In this case, it was the Darkseer pushing a tier 1 tower in the offlane, working towards his mech. And Secret aren't going to be too worried about losing a Dazzle bottom there when it's LGD 5-manning and they're getting stuff else around the map.
This bottom lane looks a little dangerous. No TP on Kuro. S4 doesn't want to leave him alone to the Wolves. And now out the Courier flies TP, so he'll have that option. They even have to rotate a 3rd hero in Puppey, but already LGD, they're satisfied with what they got. They back off. Sylar completing the drums, going for that early pressure build that we see from a lot of gyrocopters now, and leaving way for maybe to be the hard carry. And now decision time comes, gods. 13 minutes in. It's basically a dead even game here. Only a 1,500 gold lead for Secret. Does he want the blink? Yes, sir, he does. What do you think? Good. Is this going to...
It seems to suit maybe his playstyle more. It allows him to be aggressive, go for kills, and as much as he does play more of that one position now as far as farm priority goes over Sylar, he loves to be involved in any and all action. It's the LGD way. If there's a fight going on, all 5 of your heroes are there, so gives him that initiation. Unfortunately, the window for using this item while Arteezy doesn't have BKB ending. Arteezy now just a couple hundred away, actually has BKB money, so that means it's not going to be quite as potent for killing him, but if anything, he wants to blow up the Dazzle. He wants to blow up the Witch Doctor. Delight, if you can find a Dazzle or a Witch Doctor, that's an insta-KO.
Meanwhile, Secret want to fight around the mech that's been freshly purchased by Zai. Now up to another 700 gold. They don't have the level 2 Queen of Pain ult just yet, and they are rotating 4 all the way through the middle lane. They may run into maybe in a bad position here. 3 in the river. Blink back out. Well, the Blink coming in handy there. Now it's MMY's turn to run, but they don't have a tier 1 top. They get a little bit of vision. He's got a haste turn. They both can escape here. LGD wasting a lot of Secret's time, and it looks like they should get out with no casualties. One more blink into the trees. The TP out. He's got it. Just yet, they're holding for a relocated. They may even go in on Kuro, who's run right by MMY. The haste is there. The cast not going to bounce, and the commitment tethers back. They look to engage. The mech is in play, though. This could completely turn the fight. Not sure if LGD got their eyes on it before the fight broke out. Maybe a danger as well. From the backside comes Yao, rushing in with Sylar together. The call down doing work. Zai about to drop his ult. A double off the bat for Sylar. S4 forced to blink away. They get the tiny but heavy cost for that one, gods. 3 heroes down, including the Darkseer, who just completed his mech. And meanwhile, Arteezy looking for the trade as he goes from the tower mid. He's got a BKB Requiem this one. He does do a lot of damage. Brings down MMY, not respecting the Requiem, and they even gets the tower as well. When the dust settles, not a terrible trade for Secret, although it looked pretty bad at first.
Yeah, it looked bad at first. Great flank coming from LGD. Io and Tiny bought so much time for backup to arrive. Unfortunately, they still lose the Tiny there. Io trying to heal him up with the tether and the overcharge, but just couldn't quite block enough of the damage there. So didn't go as well as LGD would have hoped for, considering they had kind of positional advantage. They got Io and Tiny out of there. They figured out exactly where Secret had 4 heroes, but they couldn't keep Tiny alive, and then they lose that Wisp as well as T1 Tower mid. Means Arteezy is suddenly looking fantastic. He's got 1,300 gold after the BK. 2,000 net worth ahead of Sylar's Gyrocopter. He is really out of control.
And not even Tinies in the past, historically, they have an Eggs by now. They're clearing big ancient stacks. By no means the case for Maybu. Still feels rather far behind to fight, despite all the fights that he has been involved in. As we just saw, the Earthshaker of Yao, this could be the next big item for LGD. He's just about picked up, purchased it. And he is level 8 now, so he's got 2 points in the Aftershock here. But it almost feels like LGD have to fight right now. If they want to play the farm game, they don't really have the farming items. No Helm of the Dominator on the Gyrocopter of Sylar, no Ags on the Tiny. And Shadowfiend alone is just going to be able to turbo farm way more than these heroes.
Yeah, I don't think you want to get into a full-on farming game against Team Secret right now. Queen of, you've got a window, especially before Queen of Pain really. S4 going to be going for, it looks like, Orchid. I think just recognizing that both, I mean, Gyro, Tiny, both going to be BKB carries, just isn't going to be coming for S4.
It's so good against Wisp as well. Tries to go for the defensive relocates. If you find the Wisp, oh, there's your Blake in, but Puppey is ready for this one. They're going to glimpse him on back. Is there going to be a kinetic field follow-up? Fissure blocking Puppey away, but it should be enough with... Nope, there's the mech. Zai will bail him out. Very nicely played by Secret. Good defensive retreat, and they dodge a bullet. It does force a 4-hero rotation bottom, which allows LGD to put a little extra pressure mid, but look who's wrapping around with an Invis rune. It's Arteezy coming from the north. No sentries in sight. This could be a total disaster for LGD. Let's see if he finds the opening here. He's got the BKB as well. Only a toss to really do anything about it. Oh, but right as he moves, an MMY to be tethering away with Sylar. They have a with the Fisher.
Echo.
He doesn't get off the BKB. Yeah, was ready with the Blink Echo. That is another costly death for Arteezy, who continues to farm out of control, but so much of the value he's gaining is being given right back to LGD by these kills.
Yeah, just kind of weird timing where Arteezy shows himself as the Wisp tethers out. He's thinking, okay, if he's not tethering, I can maybe just quickly double raise him, get a quick kill. And then the combo from LGD to kill him. He had no chance to BKB. Unless he preemptively BKBs as soon as Tiny's in range before he blinks, but that's just like not so. LGD just capitalizing on maybe a small mistake from Artur.
And it's something you've talked about so often when we've cast together, is that it's such a good counter for BKBs. Even though they block pretty much all of the damage from his ultimate, it's the instant stun that can just give you fits as a hero like a Shadow Fiend.
When there's that one carry clip where it's like he's yelling at his Earthshaker just to blink Echo Slam the enemy Gyrocopter, this is the hero. You can instantly just KO and cause so much problems with that blink ulti, killing off enemy cores. In this case, it's going to be the Shadow Fiend of Arteezy who's going to be the main target of the Earthshaker. Yeah, there's a Grave Sting behind him, but the beauty of this is after the Echo Slam, you have a Fissure. So that Fissure's always going to be headed the direction where Dazzle's waiting for the Grave. So potentially, you don't even get that Grave off.
Well, completed BKB on the way for Sylar. Courier flying out now, I believe. Yeah, there you go. And with that, he gets a whole lot tankier. And the difference for Secret is until they get that Hex, they don't have the same level of blow a hero up potential. This is going to allow LGD to 5-man if they'd like.
We talked about maybe playing more of a one position, but this is a game where he's actually not really fulfilling that role. He went back and completed drums. It's been silent more of the farm this game than the Tiny.
It seems like the way the game is developing, LGD feel like they can just chiz. I think it's confidence more than anything. Well, behind the tower, they drop an observer through the tree line, so not going to be spotted by LGD here, and it's out of range of the sentry in the woods.
They were waiting out the Echo Slam, which just comes back
Here
up.
comes the smoke. This could be tough, though. Sylar, a tough hero to initiate on. They don't have the best lockdown to prevent that BKB, and there is the threat of a Shaker counterplay with Arteezy and S4 showing like this, and nobody else on the map. LGD are going to back off and force Secret to show themselves.
Yeah, so I don't think Secret can make much. And good point you mentioned that. Secret, I mean, this is kind of a classic draft. They don't actually tables, but there's no way for them to really jump Gyrocopter and kill him, preventing a BKB. They haven't got like a Blink Lion Hex. They haven't got a Blink Echo Slam from an Earthshaker. They only have Witch Doctor cast. Coming, you can easily dodge it. That's where S4 is going for this Hex Rush as well. This is going to be the way they can actually gank and take out these kind of core heroes.
Puppey, not where he wants to be. Avalanche toss, dunked by Maybe. That was just too easy. He thought he was safe with the Observer Ward as well as the Sentry, but guess what? The Sentry is just out of range of the Dire Observer, and bit unfortunate there for Puppey. Ends up going down, but already Secret looking for the trade. Arteezy pressuring the mid lane, forcing out a quick glyph. This is before LGD even starts hammering on that tier 1 bottom, and just good at making the best out of a bad situation is Secret in general, and we see it again here. Not even going for the tower bottom. LGD felt like they could have taken that freely, but because of Arteezy's counterplay mid, they're forced to back off.
Arteezy's in a really deep position. We'll find a courier. No, he won't find the courier.
They have a glimpse. There's your initiation again from Yao. They go in with the dunk. The Grave from Puppey could turn this. No, he didn't get it off in time. Oh, he but he went for the weave instead. It's going to cost him heavily, as LGD now can go down mid to take than that tower in the bottom lane, and no way Secret can defend this without.
Yeah, Arturo went off like to the Dire Secret shop trying to snipe a courier while that was going. I actually thought he was maybe in a bad position to get caught out by another Blink Echo Slam or Tiny combo, but LGD find a key pick off, get a tower out of it. This is one of the, to me, this is the best team in the tournament when it comes to just taking objectives. They're so good at turning a kill, or even not even a kill. They just find, they force their opponents to move around the map and rotate and just create space for towers to drop. They're just, it's kind of 5-manning a lot of the time, but they do it in such a way where they never really put themselves in harm's way.
And they have been catching up as far as the farm goes on the back of those objectives. It's not like all they're doing is 5-manning. The Gyrocopter of Sylar, only 30 CS behind Arteezy, which is a much smaller percentage difference than what we saw earlier. Even even in the case of maybe's Tiny, he's not quite there with the enemy Darks here, and certainly not with Arteezy Shadow Fiend, but he is catching up nicely here, Gods, and once he gets the Ags, the farm will accelerate. Yeah. Suddenly, Sylar with 3,000 gold, maybe closing in on the Aghanims, and here we go mid, looking for the jump. There's 5. Avatos to start. They're going to relocate in the Wisp, joined by the Gyrocopter of Sylar, who immediately rushes in. The Death Ward's going to punish that IO off the bat. It's Sylar next. It's a full duration Death Ward, only now canceled out by the Fissure of Yao, but it took too long, and 3 end up falling on the back of it. Kuro making the plays here for Secret. Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, just Secret were in position. This is how the fights are meant to go for Secret. Arteezy on the front lines with the Grave Protection, and they throw everything at anything left to cancel that Death Ward, and a BKB Gyrocopter on the front lines is not as scary. That Death Ward isn't on Sylar during his BKB. Otherwise, he's going to melt because he's fairly squishy to the physical damage. Already he's got to worry about the Shadow Fiend right clicks. You don't want to have him worrying about a Death Ward as well.
Maybe just marching into the enemy woods right past a Radiant Observer. He has eyes on Puppey, who backs off here. Yeah, this is a bold maneuver.
It's like there's no Requiem.
He doesn't have... Only now
no
is anybody even in the neighborhood, but no BKB, just counting on quick reactions with the Blink should anyone go his way. Mid lane, meanwhile, Blink forward, looking for MMY, a bit too tanky, courtesy of the Buckler, and MMY's done a pretty good job of keeping up as far in this game on the Wisp. Considering how the game started, mech almost complete now. That armor will definitely help versus Secret, maybe even more so than the heal that we normally look at the mech for.
Yeah, that last fight, if he had a mech, could have gone very differently, because at the start of the fight, he tanked a lot of damage, almost was able to heal himself back up and stay alive, but just couldn't quite do it, so... Nice item choice from him. Gyrocopter going to be going for Butterfly, which will help deal with a lot of the physical damage output. It not only gives him the evasion, but also just a little boost to his armor because of all the agility you get. So very important item choice coming out. Even if Sylar's not going to have the most insane damage output, this is going to be far more useful.
And just gives you a lot of bonus armor as well for the agility, which is going to help against the physical damage as the game moves along. So the Scythe device for S4, we haven't seen it yet, Gods, but it's only 200 gold away, and this could be big. With this, the IO that we saw die rather quickly last fight may just die before the fight even commences. Let's see if he's able to farm it and what kind of impact it has. That's the kind of playmaking item that they don't really have when it comes to abilities for that instant initiation.
Yeah, they really need it against the BKB carries especially. And Tiny doesn't have one now, but you know, at some point he's kind of making his way towards one, either after his Assault Cuirass or even as his next item after the Yags. You need to have a late-game Hex, otherwise they have no control whatsoever for LGD.
This is not a very farmed Tiny, though. And in fact, nobody particularly farmed this game. There's just been so much fighting. Good creep scores around the board, but a lot of deaths for pretty much every core. You've got 4 on the Shadow Fiend, 2 on the Tiny, who isn't quite there in terms of the farm department. And as a result, Heroes taking a bit longer to head towards their big, beefy items that come out in the mid to late game. But we see defensive postures from both teams. Hiding in the trees, the Earthshaker of Yao to the south. Back in the Dire jungle, MMY just sitting behind Sylar. Everybody knows a bad fight here is going to give up a Roche to the enemy squad. And with that, you mentioned how good LGD is at taking objectives. Secret is definitely one of the best teams in the tournament in that department as well. And they're going to try for something here. It's a smoke gambit. Moving straight into Roche. They may just try to sneak it straight up.
Yeah.
And there's actually no Dire vision anywhere nearby. But everybody's missing as well for the Dire. And they have a deep ward here towards bottom. There's even a ping coming out right now from maybe. They may make the move on the pit, but it's going to be a quick Roche. Medallion brings this low. Arteezy should be prepared to grab this Aegis up. He gets bashed at the wrong moment. They may even just jump in blindly. If they did, they'd have eyes here. Oh, they're too late. The Fissure just split second. Slow. Shao 8 almost got them vision with that kinetic field, but wasn't quite in time. If that took 3 to 4 seconds longer, LGD may have just gone in with guns a-blazing.
Yeah, it was a clever Roshan too, because neither team's really been in a position to take Roshan all game long. Even then, Secret weren't in a position to take Roshan by like
They did it anyway.
Yeah, they did anyways. It was like a Cloud9 style Roche where they smoke in and try and use the fact that it's a surprise to not get detected. And LGD kind of figured out eventually, but by then it was too late. Similarly, LGD have not been in a position to go for Roshan, despite having 2 decent physical damage carries in Tiny and Gyrocopter. They just have, neither team can really put themselves in that position where they're in the pit and you've got a big initiating heroes in like the Darkseid, the Earthshaker who can just get the jump on you.
With the Aegis, let's see what Secret look to do here. Maybe Just farming out the bottom lane. Arteezy swinging towards top. He has opted for a Sanjin Yasha after the BKB. Looks like he's just tanking up against the burst damage as much as possible.
They're grouping up as 5 at top secret.
They are looking to fight here. The butterfly's just been picked up by Sylar. He's been hexed instantly. There's the reveal. Quick relocate out by Momaya. He was ready for that. They will lose the Wisp, most likely, but well worth it to save the gyrocopter.
Yeah. Spend your money. Oh, it's all on.
And I believe that was also the reveal of the Hex as well from S4.
Yeah, unless maybe they scattered it in Roshan or something, but
they're going to push on. With no Wisp, no buyback for 40. LGD most likely just counter push here.
Yep.
They've already got bottom lane.
No.
Maybe's Tiny barreling towards the tier 2.
They'll pressure mid, pressure bottom. This is not too bad a position to be in for LGD. They'll have to give up their tier 2 top, but they can get some damage on bottom, get some damage on mid.
Unfortunately, it's a Tiny, so this doesn't take very long.
Yeah,
here.
they're actually pushing just as fast the bottom lane as the top lane's being pushed by Secret. So
let's see, is there a Dire Glyph available here? They do have one.
They want to save it for the high ground, I think, because there's a legitimate... Here comes Secret. They're going to force TPs back by poking at the tier 3 tower and maybe even look to commit to a high ground siege here.
How does Secret get in here? They do have the Blink Hex capabilities. They get some eyes on Arteezy, throwing out a homing missile. Ideally, they'd love to bait out that BKB, but Secret will just calmly focus the missile down. And now they've got the IO of MMY back. No relocate just yet, though. It should be cooling down in relatively short order. 1 second and counting. And now they go. On Arteezy, doesn't BKB. Very patient. I feel a lot of carry players in that position would just panic, insta BKB, and then any chance of pressure is over for over a minute. But
and good play from LGD. You've got to just use that combo, get SF down to half HP, because that's how you're going to stall the push. He doesn't want to throw his Aegis away for nothing, so you have to just get whatever free damage you can on that Aegis pushing carry. And Secret decide, well, they're just going to keep doing that. We're going to back off. Otherwise, we're kind of wasting our time here. As much as they'd like to be able to get a tier 3 tower and racks with this Aegis, once LGD had 5 alive again, it just wasn't going to be possible.
It feels like Secret are about to hit a really good timing. Kuroki has the level 2 Death Ward. He's almost completed the Ags. Somehow Kuroki always finds this farm. I mean, you look at the hero that he's on, and it doesn't feel like a Witch Doctor should be able to farm the way some of Kuro's other signature heroes do, but somehow he always finds a way. And with that Ags, the level 2 Weave also in play, all the money have through the Death Ward, and Arteezy about to get his next big item up to 4.3k. That could be the opportunity to go for a high ground push. But now Xiaowei caught out. This is big if they can find him. He glimmers and tries to run away. They have detection, and they will bring him down. Quick pick there for LGD. And it's going to be up to, or for Secret, and it's going to be up to LGD to back off. Yao gets caught mid. Oh, this is the one they can't afford. Losing to support's one thing, but Yao's dead for 45, and Gods, he doesn't have a buyback. Good news is mid lane has been shoved deep towards the tower.
Yeah, I feel like both those pickoffs a bit sloppy from LGD. But the first one was just good Secret response. As soon as they see, they take the jump. He knew where they were. He knew they could just blink and get to him quickly, but didn't really respect the initiating power of Secret.
It's the Scythe of Vice. It's been the difference maker here. Top lane, Vac Wall thrown out just
a TP
to discourage LGD, and that means they'll be lacking a hero for the
TP.
Creeps are coming in right now. They're going to raise up the top lane and focus on mid, it looks like. Sylar sprinting back. Fortunately, he's got the butterfly. Activates it immediately, but he may not have evasion for this upcoming fight. We'll see if it cools down in time. Arteezy. There's the Thunderstrike onto him. Respawning in a moment is Yao, and they do get eyes on Sylar. The Hex again. They've trapped him outside the base. Puppy was expecting the walk back, and Sylar tries to run. He's even committed a BKB, but the Queen of Paydon and right clicks from the Shadow Fiend of Arteezy, enough to bring him down. Again and again, Secret finding the picks, and all of it on the back of this Scythe of Vice from S4. What a difference this pickup has made.
That and the vision too. Like first they canceled the TP back at top, and he had to walk back to base. He walks past Ward, so
there's your
Blink
Fissure.
Hex and you're
They're going to go
for
now. Avatos on Arteezy, trying to stall this out, but he just stands and continues to deliver. Now a completed Eye of Scotty up, muscling his way in towards the LGD base, and they're able to force out a very crucial buyback. And again, the Hex catches out MMY. He's going to die on the backsides. They need something for this, but the Death Ward of Kuro's going. They've got no way to stun him. Finally, they'll disable it. LGD self-destructing, known for their composure in most games. Not having it here. Secret just finding opening after opening, chunking down Sylar next, driving him back into the base, and they won't let him escape. That's a dieback on the gyro. It's an ultra for Arteezy, and it might just be game right here, right now. Again, the Graves, the plays, Secret crushing through. They bring down Maybe as well, and they're going to heal up Arteezy. He's feeling confident, swags towards the well, and they get the GG. Secret, so many outplays, in a series of 3 to 5 minutes, when before then it was back and forth, dead even. All of a sudden, the switch flips, and it's all Secret all the way.
Yeah, it was 28 minutes, 29 minutes of just dead even Dota. And from that Roshan sneak onwards, Secret just outplayed them. Found pick after pick. First the Disruptor at the Ancients, then they found Yao in the mid lane. Then they prevented the TP's top during the split push. And then suddenly everything just fell apart. Piece by piece, the dominoes just crumbled. And yeah, LGD, they played a hell of a game. Like, they can look back on this and be like, yeah, 28, 29 minutes, we played that flawlessly. That was where we wanted things to be with this draft, with our game plan. But
it really seems clear the discussion in the war room for LGD is going to be, the draft was fine. The early laning stage wasn't great, but it was fine, good enough. The mid-game execution was good. We just did not have it in those key fights. We just got outplayed.
They kind of just, yeah, a bit of a choke nerve, whatever it may be. That, like, 1 to 2 minutes just cost them, and it was still a good showing from LGD, but Secret just on another level as far as decision-making.
All right, well, with that, we'll hand it back to the 3 Merlinis and see what they have to say.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
They're so good at buying
They are
time.
buying time and here from Yao. Behind and drop a fissure, and they're going to clean the back line up.
Yeah, right there. This all turns back around.
Doing so well in the early days of the game. The Earthshaker team together, being at the right place. Tiny didn't have a good start in the lane, and he relied on the Earthshaker to come into the middle lane, get some kills on the Shadow Fiend, and get back on track. So I felt, early game-wise, Yao was the MVP for LGD.
Yeah.
It was interesting for me to see the super early laning stage Secret they made all the right calls with how they put their lanes and how they played in the first laning stage. It looked like it was going to be really, really good for them. And then LGD have like 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 20, where they play really, really solidly. They counter the movement, they plan well, they know what they want to accomplish. And I think they have in the back of their minds that